Big boost for Manchester United. It's 3 players who were thought to be out for the final could now be back. Big update on Zirkzee, who very much could be on the bench. Dalot and Yoro could even start. We're going to talk about the latest on that. Big updates and breakthrough on Delap. He's been allowed to visit Carrington. Ipswich have given him permission. He's talking with Manchester United and many clubs. He knows he's going to get a lot of minutes at Manchester United. Are we going for Delap? Are we going for Gyokeres? Are we going for both? Because we don't know if we're going to end up getting Gyokeres or Delap. You know, Chelsea are competition for Delap, Arsenal competition for Gyokeres. Are we going to make our mind up after the Europa League final? Well, it has been reported that United want to get 2 deals done by the end of May, and that second deal could be Delap or Gyokeres. We'll talk about the latest on them. We have multiple forward options, including Embuemo Semenyo. But interestingly, Ruben Amorim was ready to quit Manchester United earlier in the season, wanted to quit after the 3-1 Brighton defeat. That was the game, remember, where if you don't remember the leaks about him smashing the TV in Carrington, losing his mind, throwing chairs and tables. Apparently he tried to quit or was open to resigning, and INEOS spoke him out of that. We'll get into the latest on Cunha, links to Vanderson, and INEOS being, well, cost cutters, let's just say. So, hello, and welcome back to Alice Talks Football, and welcome back to your 10-minute Manchester United news roundup, where it's the transfer window time. We round up all the news in 10 minutes. Now the transfer window is essentially open. Every evening that there's actually news, I will do a 10-minute video that's going to go out late in the evening. That's going to round up all the news that's come out from like 4 or 5 p.m. onwards that's relevant, pretty much, and maybe a bit of older news if context is needed. So you guys are up to date. So feel free to subscribe if that's your thing. But let's get into the news on the Europa League. So this has come out from Sully. Now, Sully, as I've mentioned many times, is one of the best sources of information when it comes to getting a little bit of an inside scoop on Manchester United, Carrington, behind the scenes, and injuries. So go give him a follow. Very credible. You know, he knows a lot. He sometimes knows who's going to start the day before as well. But he's quite respectful of what he leaks because he doesn't want to give Man United any kind of disadvantage. And he was saying that Joshua Zirkzee has a good chance of making the Europa League final. Look, Zirkzee, he's not going to start. He's not going to be ready to start. I don't think he's going to be fully fit and fully sharp. And we've seen with Zirkzee, he's nowhere near as good, and that is the concern. But look, Rasmus Højlund's been good in Europa League, but not against Premier League opposition. That's where he's going to struggle. I think having Zirkzee as an option the last 15, 20 minutes to give us a bit of control, someone that can hold up the ball, is a big positive. I almost wish the Europa League finals in 2 weeks, and then you know that actually you'd have Yoro and Zirkzee and Dalot, which would make a huge difference. But he's back in full team training. He's expected to travel with the possibility to feature on the bench. What we do know is that Yoro and Dalot are in the travelling squad, but it is unclear if they'll make the matchday squad. But that's big news there in the sense of Yoro, Dalot, Zirkzee. That's 3 players that are set to travel, that could be available, could be on the bench, maybe could start. We don't really know, and I don't think United want to let people know because they don't want to give Spurs any kind of advantage there. But it's the mind games. Tottenham have brought Bergwall and Maddison with them. They're not expected to be fit, but it's the mind game. So we'll have to wait and see. Let's continue on into more stories then. So it was come out by... Oh, we've just frozen. Sorry if I lagged out there. My Wi-Fi is having a nightmare and my laptop just froze. So I'm hoping the quality comes out right. But I want to talk about Delap because Laurie Whitwell, who is one of the best sources of information, has dropped some big updates on Delap. He said United executives met in person with Delap over a potential move. Ipswich Town granted permission for Delap to travel to Manchester. The player was given a chance to have a first-hand look at life at Old Trafford, probably Carrington, what the transfer would involve, and more. So Laurie Whitwell has confirmed that Manchester United are very much talking to Delap involved. Ipswich are giving him permission to look round Manchester United. We also know from Ben Jacobs who said Liam Delap has been told he would get a lot more minutes if he went to Manchester United. He will be given a significant amount of minutes, and he is still Manchester United's top choice. And Ben Jacobs also mentioned the fact that Manchester United want to quick signings in the first few weeks of the window, with a number 9 seen as a priority area to strengthen it. And they're making moves on Delap. Obviously, Cunha is the focus, but that's nearly done and wrapped up now. They're making moves on Delap. I think we will try for Gyokeres if we win the Europa League, but I think the club is more confident on Delap. But Chelsea are very much involved in that race for Delap. He's not made a decision. He's waiting for the season to end. He may favour Chelsea if they play in Champions League football next season and we don't. That is the worry, that he may favour Chelsea because of that. So it's another reason to win the Europa League because, you know, even if we can't get Gyokeres, and he decides to go to Arsenal, even if we do win the Europa League, at least it puts us in a stronger position to get Delap. And I'm not Delap's #1 fan, but he's better than a lot of the other options out there. I'm Cunha, I'm a Mbeumo, and if you get Delap as a third, I'm okay with it, but I still think we need a ready-made striker. And ready-made for me is Osimhen or Gyokeres. And this is some news by Laurie Whitwell that I really like. So he said that Liam Delap will hold talks with all interested clubs, including Chelsea, before he makes the decision. A bit like Bellingham when there was a few clubs interested in him. United are still considering multiple forward targets, including Mbeumo, Gyokeres, and Osimhen. So Cunha's boom, but United are still looking at Mbeumo, who can be right 10 and even play striker if needed, even wing back if needed, but mostly at right 10, Gyokeres and Osimhen. That's what I like to see. I think if we win the Europa League, we've got budget to do that. I think a lot of it depends on winning the Europa League. If we can get Mbeumo, Cunha, and Gyokeres, that'd be fantastic. You know, I like Delap, but he's not Mbeumo, he's not Gyokeres, he's not Osimhen. And Laurie Whitwell is saying that, you know, these are United's other targets, and I like these other targets because while Delap is young, I can see value for money why United would want him. Amorim's interest in the past, Wilcox's interest in the past, but the guys you want are the Gyokeres, the Osimhens, the Mbeuemos, because you know they've got that experience. And interestingly, I think most people at United know we need experience, but I think it might be Jason Wilcox that thinks differently. So, Graham Bailey said this: Amorim and the staff believe a proven ready-made striker is the best fit. So, Amorim and the coaches want a proven ready-made striker. And I've said that Amorim and the coaches' preference is Gyokeres, but INEOS' preference is Delap many times. If you've been following me, I've said this many times. We know that the club, Amorim, the coaches, they want Gyokeres. We know that INEOS prefer Delap because they see it as more financially affordable. But if they can get Gyokeres, they'll go for it because Amorim is pushing for it, and that's what Amorim wants. Amorim likes Delap, but we know Amorim would prefer Gyokeres. But Wilcox thinks that Delap is the right long-term option for the club. You know, but Gyokeres is viewed as a great tactical fit. The club is open to someone more experienced, but Wilcox does like Delap. He tried to get him at Southampton. He's a strong fan, and I do like Delap as well. I'm going to be happy if we sign Delap, but I'd be more happy if we signed Gyokeres, or more happy if we signed Osimhen. Delap is an improvement on Højlund, but it's like, could he get lost at Manchester United? Could he struggle in the pressure? So I read this news story from Mark Ogden, and I thought it was quite interesting. He said this: after a rough start, winning just 1 in 8 games, Amorim considered resigning following the 3-1 loss to Brighton. United's hierarchy reassured him of their support and convinced him to stay. Despite early struggles, the job remained confident that Amorim was the right man for the job. He now said that Amorim is happy at United and wants to turn United back around. But there was a point in January where he wanted to go and, you know, was considering actually leaving and quitting. And you can't blame him when he lost Rashford and Anthony, and he probably found out the club was going to do nothing in the window. We'd lost 3-1 to Brighton, and that game was atrocious. And I feel for Amorim. That was the game where, as I said, he was, you know, kicking chairs and tables. He smashed the screen. He had a right meltdown. And I think in the emotion of it, he probably wanted to leave. But I think now thinking about it, he doesn't. But it's interesting to see that the hierarchy reassured him, we're going to support you. We want you to stay. They probably told Amorim that we're going to back him in the summer. I think Amorim's been told we're going to back you in the summer because I think Amorim wasn't having any of what went down in January. You lost Rashford, you lost Anthony, you didn't find me a replacement. Ahmad then got injured, Zirkzee then got injured. I think Amorim was having none of it. So I think INEOS have probably made a promise to Amorim, like, look, we're gonna back you. So let's get into a few of the final news stories on Gyokeres, on Cunha, etc. So this was said that Matheus Cunha has chosen United regardless of how the season ends. We win Europa, we lose Europa, we're getting Cunha. We'll probably announce it after Europa in case we lose as a PR spin. The deal is now basically finalised and done. We just need to do some final details with Wolves about how we pay the instalments. Bish bash bosh, then it's done. Gyokeres, although he's not made a decision. We like Gyokeres, Arsenal likes Gyokeres. I'm sure many top teams are in for Gyokeres. He's not made a decision, and he will only choose Man United if we win Europa League. If we win the Europa League and get Champions League football, but even with Champions League football, it's not known if he would choose Man United over Arsenal. In terms of other updates, apparently both Manchester United and Tottenham have inquired about Vanderson. Is some reports coming out from Rudy Galetti, so that could be one to watch. And the first team squad, according to Mark Ogden, also jointly paid to charter a flight to Spain to allow friends and family to attend the final as well. We've been hearing stories about Amorim, you know, using money out of his own pocket to pay for staff and family travel to the Europa League final. Same with some of the players. Bruno done it with the FA Cup final because INEOS, I get elements of the cost cutting, but this is a next level tie INEOS with, you know, pretty much not letting many people come to the final. And the sad truth is, and I don't like to say, when we know when United will be in another final again, you've got to cherish these moments because every year we think we hit a new rock bottom. Oh, we just missed out on top 4, worst season ever. No, we're 16th now. You know, we might be in a position where we don't win a trophy for a few years. Hopefully that's wrong. Hopefully I'm wrong. I think we will win a trophy in a few years, and I think we will get back on track. But you just never know. So I didn't like that approach. But anyway, let me know your thoughts. Thank you for watching. Bye.